What if I told you that most of your life problems could be easily solved with 5 simple laws that the greats before us mastered? Well, in this video here, I'm breaking out exactly what these 5 laws are, how to easily implement them into your own lives, and then on top of that, I'm giving you guys some current and past examples from real life to show you guys exactly the epic benefits that comes along with implementing them. Law number 1. Today is December 31st, 2023, and Laura has her resolutions list up and ready for the new year. There are over 5+ goals she wants to accomplish in 2024, such as getting married, starting her YouTube channel, becoming a supervisor at her corporate job, going back to college, and then lastly, achieving her dream body. After a few months goes by of her spreading her focus among these goals, she slowly loses interest and burns out and returns back to her normal schedule, similar to how Squidward was in that one episode. Luckily for Laura, she stumbles across a YouTube channel called KJTheBlackAce. After watching a video about the 48 laws, on this channel here, she discovers a law called law number 23, concentrate your forces. The reason why I illustrated Laura's life as it is because a lot of us struggle with the same things that she did. We consistently find ourselves falling into distractions. We consistently find ourselves not doing what we're supposed to be doing. And a lot of these distractions cause us turmoil in our own lives. With our minds being consistently pulled back and forth like tug and war, we only find ourselves burning out, and on top of that, being more in despair about our lives. Similar to Laura, a lot of us live our lives based on a cycle that involves hope and then distractions. Hope, then distractions. Have you ever heard of monk mode? A lot of you guys find yourselves want to do multiple things at one time. You guys want to be playboys. You want to be Sam Sulek in the fucking gym. You want to be the next Ada Ross. You guys want to be comedians in the comments. You know, there's so many different things you guys want to do. You have to be able to concentrate your time and your effort. Most business models will work if you give it enough time and you give it enough effort. Do you guys know anyone personally who always seems to be switching job field to job field to job field or goal to goal to goal, and they never seem to get anywhere? And unfortunately, this is only getting worse because a lot of our attention spans are becoming worse than that of a cricket. You don't have to be everything for everybody, but you do need to combine this law with law number 2 in order to make it effective. Do you guys remember when you would just lay there in bed dreaming about what the future may hold for you? Like, what happened to that? What happened to that beautiful future that we were supposed to have? Well, the answer is simple. As we grew older, a lot of us began to create self-imposed barriers and obstacles around our goals because we lost faith in ourselves. We lost faith in what we could do. Because when you're a child, you have like a certain level of confidence because you don't really know what to expect in life. You know, you kind of just test things out and you just hope for the best. Nowadays, when you get to a certain level of age, you get let down so many times and life consistently knocks you down that you begin to look at your life a lot differently than you did as a child. Spoiler alert, law number 5 talks really deeply about time. However, there is a solution in getting back this future. It's called law number 34. Act like a king to be treated like one. The strategy of the crown is a simple but effective principle that pretty much states you need to be obsessed with your ability to get the job done no matter the circumstance. You have to be overwhelmed by your self-belief in order to make things work. But before we can implement the strategy successfully in real life, we have to look at the difference between those who use it correctly and those who don't. Is that the people who are successful with it walk around with a certain level of aura and confidence that comes from one simple thing. They do things that others won't and cannot do. What are you willing to do when no one else is watching, and what are you willing to do when everyone else doesn't want to do it? These things will separate you from others. This will give you that aura of a king. But when I was in high school, my peak sad boy era, I was doing a bunch of shit that made me unworthy of wearing a crown. I would do things that consistently left me feeling in disgust and feeling unworthy of being great in whatever I was doing at that time, whether it's track, athletics, anything of the sorts. I felt like I wasn't worthy to have it. When you assume you're destined for greatness and you ask for a lot and you ask for what you want there and then, that sheer boldness, that sheer audacity and your confidence, that will often yield you a lot better results as if you weren't as confident and you were doubting yourself the whole time. So far, we learned a lot about how our mindset affects our actions, which then becomes our destiny. But now what if I told you that it wasn't until I learned law number 3, where I learned how to shut up, that my life really started to change? Well, spoiler alert, not following this law will create a lot of ops and emotional turmoil that will ultimately throw you off your square, ruining your destiny and causing whatever motion you have to vanish. To illustrate this further, let's look into the murder of Tupac Shakur. Recently, in September 2023, gang member Keefe D was arrested and charged with the murder of Tupac Shakur in 1996. After almost 30 years, not much had changed in this cold case. It wasn't until interviews began to surface of Keefe D going online allegedly confessing to the murders of Tupac. You can't make this shit up. He was literally snitching on himself about what happened, how it happened, who was there. He was just giving away so much information on himself because he thought that he was immune to the charges because of, I think it was like a documentary or interview or something that he did that gave him some sort of immunity. And with Keefe D's self-snitching incident, that just goes to show you, law number 4, always say less than necessary. How many silent enemies have we created? How many people have we offended? How much shit has just blown up in our face because we said something that came to mind? And in the 48 Laws of Power, there's a great quote by Leonardo da Vinci. He who opens his mouth too much thereby puts himself at the mercy of the listener. And that pretty much just means be careful with your words. You do not know the effect that your words are having upon the listener. I don't even know the sheer amount of problems I've caused myself by just talking too much. Like, this law can be applied anywhere, whether it's at your job, at work, at school. And at this point, I think it's a canon event for every man to have at least one time they fumbled a baddie for just saying some stupid shit. I will personally say that it's better to be the strong and silent type than it is to be the loud and obnoxious type that everyone hates to be around. If you can be that man who's strong but silent, you have 2 things that really go for you. Number 1, when you say less than necessary, you appear greater than what you are. People will hold on to your words a lot harder than if you were always talking. Number 2, I think we all know it's inherently a lot harder to be quiet than it is to talk. Now, in modern times, that law right there is a cheat code, no doubt. However, it's not enough just to be silent. You have to be strong. And in order for you to really be strong, you have to follow law number 4. Do you guys want a cheat code that you could implement right after this video? Well, here's an experiment. Next time you see a girl that you're interested in, within 3 glances of looking at her, I want you to walk up and introduce yourself. You don't gotta say, oh, I wanna smash you right here. Nah, you can just say, hi, my name is so-and-so, what's your name? You can walk away right after that. Or if you're too scared and you wanna be a little bit more, of a scaredy cat, you can go ahead here and take a cold shower. But as soon as you turn that cold water on, I want you to immediately walk into the shower. I don't want you to have no hesitation. And the lesson here is not to get the girl's number or to become the Iceman from taking a cold shower. You must master the art of the bold move. Once you're able to master the art of the bold move, the world becomes your oyster. You can do pretty much anything you want if it's bold enough, and you'll get away with a lot of shit. Have you ever seen one of those prank videos where the guy will blatantly disrespect somebody, but just because he's so bold with it that they can't register what's going on? And when it comes to our world and the reality we live in, we consistently put up obstacles just by the way we think. The routines we find ourselves in are all to the detriment of ourselves. Like, we create a lot of the problems we have in our own lives. The biggest cheat code in this life is understanding that you are your own hero. The only problem with the bold move is it requires a certain amount of timing, which leads us to the next and final law, law number 5. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, none of these laws matter at all unless you master this law completely. And before I can really give you guys the complete essence of this law, let's look at examples of someone who uses the law and someone who does not. Here's Tom. Tom is always scrolling on his phone. He's always procrastinating on starting that business that he's very passionate about. Every day is pretty much the same day for Tom. He's consistently procrastinating, wasting his youth, and opportunity flies by him each day of his life. And then there's Carlos. Carlos wakes up every day on a mission. Every day he works hard as possible without forcing anything. He consistently moves with the trends and then with time as it goes on. He's not stagnant in his way of thinking, and he consistently reinvents his mindset. One has mastered the law, the other hasn't. It's law number 35, master the art of timing. Now, the biggest thing about time and timing in itself is that time is an artificial concept that us humans have made to make life feel less infinite. We essentially design time to give us a sense of reality without feeling lost. And since humans created time, that also allows us to have the power to slightly manipulate it to our favor. And what I mean by that is, time is controlled by your perception. Do you guys recall your high school experience being pretty long compared to your adult life? That's because back then when you're in high school, you don't have bills to pay, you don't have emotional relationships as well, maybe some of you guys did, but most of us didn't. You don't have a lot of different stresses that you do get in adulthood. The more emotional, worried, and unfocused you are, the more time flies by. Have you guys ever been stuck in one spot, texting back and forth with your bae on an argument? That will make time go by so fast, you won't even realize that you've just been standing there for 30 minutes if you guys are in a deep argument. Turmoil, stress, and worry makes us lose track of time. It makes us lose sense of time. And that speeds up time. So once you understand that, you can also slow down time. And in order for us to slow down time, we have to be as stress-free as possible. And on top of that, be able to focus in the moment and be mindful. So there's a few ways you guys can achieve that. Be, stretching, meditating, just being grateful. Those are all great ways of increasing your mindfulness. But just realize that when you're being mindful, you're slowing down time and seeing opportunities, that allows you to plan several steps ahead while also avoiding any pitfalls that may come from certain actions. Let's say, for example, you guys want to use law number 4. You want to make a bold move, right? If you're mindful, before you make that bold move, you'll take a couple seconds to look around to see if anybody else is around that girl. That might be your boyfriend. And if you can really plan several steps ahead, that allows you to have the most tactical advantage. It is very rare for a man to be able to see past the current moment. And that's what this law is all about. Seeing past what's there and presently in front of you. You have to control the art of timing, because certain things are only there for a minute, and certain things may happen if you don't plan several steps ahead. Set deadlines on what things need to be done. If you set deadlines for yourself, it's gonna allow you to force yourself to taking action and slowing down time looking for opportunities. And I promise you this, if you implement these laws consistently into your life, you will change everything. These are modern life cheat codes that are not talked about enough. But here's the bad news. None of these laws matter if you don't avoid these classic mistakes here. So make sure you guys watch that video so that way you guys are informed. With that said, my name is KJTheBlackAce. Follow me on social media. Make sure y'all subscribe as well. I'm dropping game like this consistently, and I'm gonna holla back at you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.